Hey guys, give me 1 second to set up and then we're gonna be ready to go. We'll be ready for non-farm payrolls and we'll do it together. Yay. Give me 1 second. Oh yeah. Sorry about the loop. All right, we got 5 minutes here. You got norm payrolls coming out. We're going to have to get one of the little British guys out here to tell us what to do, what's going on with the market. Let's get that going. Last night I did a NVIDIA live stream. I will get into it on Saturday and I will get into it on Friday. If you're a tech investor, the best thing that you're going to take from today's video is you need to listen to that call. You need to make a note and listen to that call. I can't stress that like enough. Let me see if it's still on their website. If it's still on their website, I'll just grab the link for you right now. I think it is. Yeah, there it is. So all you have to do, you can go here and it might be online too, but I'll put it out there. I'm not early. I'm actually late. That's the website link. So I don't think I can pin from here, but that's the website link for NVIDIA. Can I edit that? I'll just go here and just type it out what it is. NVIDIA conference call link. You need to listen to this. Because if you think that you're in a bubble, like, what's up, Walt? It's a Christmas miracle. Dying. I'm trying to eat 15. We're going to get there. We're going to get there. I know my food's here. I got it. All right. Where are we? What are we doing? Let's do it. All right. 3.5 minutes. Let's go. Let's get, we'll pull one of these guys up. We'll get them talking to us. I got so many of these things. Let's use this one. And we'll use Financial Juice for that. And I have so many different services. I just bought this. Well, I'm trying it out, but I got the super expensive service. It's one of the reasons why I'm shutting the community till 26, because I'm going to turn it to a squawk, I think, somehow. I'll figure it out. They're giving me, I got to watch like the ability to do it though, because the way they want me to share the data. All right, that's not good. Hold on 1 second. Hold on. Okay, so I got to get rid of you, whatever you are. All right, so they're buying. All right, so Walmart boosts outlook. Abbott's on Thursday would catch it up to $23 billion. So they're going to buy this. All right, so Abbott to Bush with up to 23 buyout of Exact. It looks like they're going to buy this company. Is that what they're doing? It looks like they're going to buy it. EXAT. EXAS. Is that it? Hold on 1 second here. Things just got goofy. Hold on. Them internets. I don't know. We're starting early good or bad. Wow. Hold on. We're getting there. All right. Let's go to you. Click off of you. Click off of you. Click off of you. Go to this and go to this. All right. Cool. There it is. And what do we got up? All right. Cool. This screen. Micron. All right. Great. Let's go take a look at this. EXAS. Whoa. That's a merger. Wow, what'd they pay? $23 billion. I guess cash, the way it's just sitting there. Let's go take a look at that. Cool. Wow. All right. Thank you, little British guy. Let me pull up this cheat sheet for you while we're watching this so that you know it's going to happen. Let me just grab it real quick. Drop it in there for you. So there's your cheat sheet. Let's get to it. Thank you. Hopefully you screenshotted it. Put that there, and let's go. I got a bunch to go over, but let's get through this. All right, dude. We might get smoked. We might get smoked on that. That means that they're not going to cut rates. Those numbers are So screwed up. You might come in on this. I don't know that you're gonna stay up on that because they're probably not gonna cut. So they're cutting in the past. Okay, okay. All right, that's enough. Thank you. That's too much. That's a problem. All right. It's a problem because the non-farm payrolls is way higher than everybody thought it was going to be. Market seems to like it, obviously. Let's go take a look at the bond market for a second. All right, let's go take a look at the 2-year. Why in God's name would it drop? What are you saying that I'm not saying? Let me go to the CME Fed tool and see if I can get some more for you here and find out what the hell's going on. Excuse my language, ladies. I know, take your time. I only pay for the freaking fastest internet, but you load in when you're ready. Oh, these internets. Let's grab this and drop this in too. You can see it here. That's a big surprise, man. See, I mean, like that's a number. We haven't had a number like that in some time. So, um, yeah, like here's what happened. As soon as let me just make sure that that's the dude. I gotta get used to these blue lights. Um, all right, so that's your initial move down. All right. Let me just reload it and see if it changed again. And then I'll post it so that you guys can see it. I'll show you what I'm showing. Just give me 1 second to let it load in again. I want them to update and then go from there. I wouldn't be surprised to see the market roll on this. I really wouldn't. I really would not be surprised to see it come in on it. Because it's much hotter than expected. Yeah, they're going to skip December. General business activity, current activity versus future activity. This is fascinating. Look, these numbers are so freaking skewed. They're so skewed. Give me 1 second. All right. All right. So did it change? I think it changed. Yeah. All right. Let's go to it. Let's flip to it real quick so you can see what's going on. I'm sorry. It's too much me in the morning. All right. Cool. You with me? Yay. Let's go down here. We'll stop bonding for a second. See these numbers right down here? This is currently where you're at. So you jumped. Let me see if I can open this up for you guys so you can see it. What is that? Typing for ants? I think it's this one that does it. There it goes. All right. So you moved. You're not moving a lot though. I thought you'd move more. So it's not like you're really moving on it. I thought you moved more. I thought you jumped there. You didn't. Not as much as I thought. I find it pretty confusing, honestly. Let's get rid of this. Take this off. Remove. Let's get to it now. You would think, and there I go again thinking, that you'd sell off on that and that the bond market would sell off on that. But they're doing the exact opposite of what I thought they were going to do. The only thing I can think about is that maybe it's the revision or it's the non-farm being that high. Maybe it's because the non-farm's that high. You know, I'm wondering if that's what it is, but I don't know. I don't think that's what it is. Let's get to names. Look at the stocks. Let's start with the ES. Pretty wedged in here. Go to the 5. We'll start there. And what we'll do is bring you up here. Yep. And then we'll drop you to here. All right. And then open this up. So I put all these VWAPs in to prove a point, but I think the point's over. So what we're going to do is get rid of this one. You know what we're going to do? Let's do it this way. It'll take me 2 seconds. Here's your low VWAP from that low on October 10th. That's where you're stopping yet again. So you're going to want to watch that. This is your peak. That's drawn poorly. And we're going to have to watch that. We have to watch this. You have to. You don't have a choice. If you start breaking to the downside, you don't want to lose that. You just don't want to lose that. And I don't think you're going to, but you don't. So you're going to start hitting a wall up here. At the same time, if we take the peak, that value low, you popped back in it, but that's going to be a real area of contention. And I really think that that's how you have to look at it. So you're back in that area, but this is definitely going to be something that's going to be a sticking point. And I really think that understanding that, you know, those peak VWAPs and that low is going to be a problem, not a blessing. So I don't know that you're going to get through that, but that's your big hurdle today. I think you have more macro stuff that you really have to pay attention to than anything else. So meaning like these big levels, like, are you going to get through this or not? I don't know. Let's go take a look at this on a smaller scale. Let's go take a look at it from the first 1 minute bar. Yeah, I mean, that kind of makes sense too. So from the first 1 minute bar, the October 10th VWAP just happens to be the retracement. I'm going to stay a net seller on this until I figure out what the heck is going on. So I didn't buy a thing. If anything, I'm just selling into those kinds of rips until I get a better handle on it. But that's really how I say it, and that's really how I'd be paying attention to it here. You can push, but what's the benefit to that push? I guess is kind of where my head is. Like, why would they push? If you're not going to cut rates, and I guess I can leave this up for you guys. Copy it and drop that in there. But if they're not going to, oh, for God's sake. Copy. If they're not going to cut rates, okay. All right, that's exhausting. Then the equity risk premium's all screwed up. All right, so there's your 168 off that retracement. You went to it, and that's it. So it's not like it's a lot, man. So let's go back to the 15. Let's clean it all off, and we'll just start over. So you can see how we got there. So the very first thing you do is we're just going to drop that volume profile from the peak. And we're going to see how we've been respecting that. So I don't think you're going to break that again, personally. I think that you may have put the bottom in. I think you're trying to put a bottom in, I should say. And I think that bottom is way more important than what we've seen in the past. Here's the 10th for you. And we can see how we're still respecting that 10th right here. Boop. And right here, promise not to make that noise again. So you'd want to know when you got here. So putting an alert there is probably not the worst idea. Dropping it down to here as well and understanding that that's going to be another one should you get through it. So I always look at these like I'm underwater and someone's putting a weight on me. And maybe I have issues, but that's the way I look at it. So, watch that area and we'll go from there. I definitely think that's the crux of it. You definitely don't want to start getting below that right there. That's for sure. So if you start to do that, you always want to become cognizant when you're there, because sometimes they'll do the undercut and then turn, and they might do that there too. So we just want to watch and see what they're going to do. But I think they're your levels. I mean, maybe you can get down to here, but I don't know. We'll see. So I'd watch those levels. I think that they're your biggest levels. We go take a look at the Qs. They have been walking you down. So 626, once we broke that up here, that was it. 615 clearly is going to be an issue. This dropped all the way down. Your browser camera lost. We lost the browser camera. Of course we did. Okay. Thank God I bought that one for $8. Okay. So, all right. Jesus, is that as bright as I think it is? It's not bright at all, is it? Or is that bright? Oh, it's that light. Whatever. This is what you got. This is what you get. That's all I can do. I can only do so much. I think there's one thing I can do to dim it. Does that dim it? No, that's it. That's all we get. All right. So 615, your call wall, I think they're dropping. People still think it's up here. I don't think it is. I think you're here now. I'd be leaning more towards 620. I don't think you're getting through 620 by Friday. Let's go take a look at this again. And let's go out a little further. What time do we have? 8:43. All right. I'm going to have time for questions. There it is. Can we draw that better, or is that as good as we're going to get it? Are we nailed in? No, we're dialed in. Okay, cool. And let's go to this real quick so you guys have this. And you guys can just screenshot that. Okay, I mean, there's your destiny right there, man, staring you right in the face. So, 614, 613, like 615, like that's just like a whole suck salad staring right at you. So, the idea that I'm going to rush into this and go me first. No, I love myself. So not me first. No, man, you first. I'm not rushing into that. Let's go take a look at the SPY the same way. And I think that I marked off last night. Let me see something. Okay, this is super interesting because the call wall is actually rising on the market. So let's clean it all off, and then we'll just do it again. All right, so let's go to the 10th, and let's mark the low of that because that's a pain point. So we always want to know where the biggest pain point was. And those extreme lows, they're pain points, right? So we want to understand that that's a pain point. And then we want to understand where the other one's going to be. So I think that's super important. Okay. So 667, and then where's the, all right, so then our put is 660, but I don't think we're breaking that. I don't know that you're getting there, and I don't think you're breaking that, but let's leave it there. All right. And then the other thing that we would do is go take a look at the call, which is going to get you all the way up here. And I mean, you know, I don't know what they're smoking. Someone went on a little bit of a DMT trip there, but that ain't happening. So where does that put us? You know, can you get through 675? So you're really, you know, you're really at the high end of the range right here off the open, guys. That's how I feel about the market here. You know, it's got to get through all this stuff. It doesn't mean it can't, but you have a lot of hurdles there, man. You got to get through. That number is going to freak everybody out, I think. I'm really surprised that you did not change as much into that, like at all. What do you got for me, John? Thank you, brother. All right. Yeah, you got Thanksgiving. You're right. You know, you're right. I even travel. Good morning from San Francisco. Good morning from Miami. So, I would just keep watching. I keep watching. Let's take some questions, and we'll go from there because I do have to jump at 9. I got a lot on here. Yeah, I mean, you need to listen to that call. You really do need to listen to that call. I don't know. You know, the thing about this again, and I like marking my pain points off. When we get to the high here, you are over the VWAP, you are over peak VWAP, and you are holding it. Like you're not closing below it anymore. And I think that's super important to see that actually is becoming support. I do think that's really important. I have a massive amount of calls that option market maker is not going to want to pay off. So I have a massive amount of calls that I bought yesterday. Not massive. I bought appropriately. I didn't go max, but I bought appropriately. But I don't know that I'm going to sell the calls as much as I'm going to. I'm thinking about just selling the 200s. See, the only thing that the market, the thing that's going to make people want to buy NVIDIA, and this guy showed me this yesterday. Let me see if I can find his slide real quick, because this was done really well, and it really shows the issue. And I'm going to actually get into this. Not tonight, but Saturday's video. But, you know, this slide did a really good job of it. Hold on, let me grab it, because I was looking at this last night. So these are the quarterly data centers. And here's the thing that people aren't getting. So like, here's data center growth, right? And now it's going to go, oh, you went from 18 to 51. No, you went from 18 to 22, from 22 to 26, from 26 to 30. So you have 10% growth, right? So you look at this and you're like, oh, well, this one, we had 20% growth or 10% growth. All right, 10% growth, actually more like 15. Oh, we went to here, you have about 12% growth. From here, you had about 5% growth. And then you went from 41 to 51. So when you really look at this, the sequential growth of data centers is actually accelerating. And I don't think people are getting that. Institutions are going to get that. But I don't think that people understand that the reason the growth was slowing here was because H20 was being replaced by Blackwell. Like, I don't think people are getting that. They're going to when they start seeing next quarter's earnings. But that's why you're seeing these guys come out and put like $320 target prices on it, because it's actually accelerating. So the only thing that's got me thinking about it is like, okay, do we just rip on that? And I don't really have the answer, to that. I really don't. So I definitely think you need to be cognizant of that. But I'm leaning towards being a net seller of calls. That's where my head is off the open. If you go back, John, and look at every single market except for May, it stopped May 23rd, 2024. Was that it? May 28th, sorry. No, that's the 25th. 23rd, right? 22nd, sorry. If you go and look at that date right in here, the day that it happened, that was the last time that the 1 minute bar or the 5 minute bar wasn't the high of the day. For the past 6 quarters, it's been. But for the past 6 quarters, you've slowed down growth on data centers. You're ramping up the growth. So, you know, when I look at that, man, like, you know, people are like, oh, you're in a bubble. But that's not a bubble. Massive growth is not, it's not a bubble. You can say it all you want, but it's just not. So, you know, I would listen to that call if you haven't, John. But I know what you're saying. At TMDX, let's look at CEG, Google. All right, so let's go to Google. I don't think people are fully grasping this yet. They're about to. They're about to. Like, you have a lot of options up here, but I don't know that they're going to care. Honestly, I really don't know that they're going to care. They just might blow through it all, to be completely candid. You have to go play with Gemini. If I was OpenAI, I think Anthropic's different because I have a friend that has, doesn't matter. But like, I think Anthropic's different because it's embedded. But if I was OpenAI, I'd be crapping myself right now because you don't need them. They're almost, OpenAI is going to be for those that are like, remember, like from back in the day, OpenAI is going to be our Alta Vista. That's what it's going to be. And go and play around with Google's new Gemini and it's absolutely fascinating. The way that it thinks and the way that it was, the ability that it had to carry a conversation and its thought process, bro. No, seriously, you want to go look at that. They're going to be all over this thing today, like all over it. I had a great trade in it yesterday. We literally top ticked the damn thing. I think I'm going to look back at that and be kicking myself for getting out of this. Like, you need to bury some of this. You do what you're comfortable with. I can't tell you what to do. But I think when people truly get that, dude, I can't do TMDX. I don't have the time. I got to jump at 9. I think you're looking at the secondary players. I'll tell you the one that makes the most sense out of everything that you asked about is CCJ. There's 3 names that I think that everybody that wants to be in uranium should look at, and people are going to disagree with me on this. But LEU, right, which is going to open up $20 today, shocker. LEU, CCJ, BWXT. Like, if you bought those 3, that makes sense to me. That makes perfect sense to me. Nothing else really is going to make a lot of sense to me from that standpoint. I'm still short OKLL. I'm short OKLL, and I literally round tripped from I was short up here at like 45 down to 30. I covered none of it. I'm still short. I have calls against it, but I don't even care. Like, there's zero in revenue. You need to start looking at the leaders. That CCJ is one of the leaders. Like, if you're looking at it from the production, bro, of like, if you're looking at it and saying to yourself, uranium's going to be around for the next 5 or 10 years, like CCJ, LEU, these are the ones you just want to buy and forget about. If you have patience and you look at this in a couple of years, you'll be kicking yourself, I think. I mean, Trump just came out and said by 28 or 30, we want to have 10 more nuclear facilities up and running. I mean, this is the company that's in bed. Like, they're the ones that are in bed with the government. This one. So now, I really feel like I'm missing something, man. I saw Berkshire blow out of DHI. So I don't know. There's definitely something there. I just make a note real quick. But if I was OpenAI, man, I'm missing something on the home builders, brother. Yeah, I think you're on the right path there. The VRT kind of stands out to me. I own these, so I don't own VRT. I personally like NBIS. I think you're going to be all over the place this morning. And I think that you really have to get ready for that. I really think you got to get ready for that. You're going to be all over the place. So that's really where my head is with it. I haven't done anything with it. I trimmed some yesterday, but I'm still in it. I'm trimming on pops. I really wasn't even crazy about what I got for it, but the market's making me nervous. So you really got to see if you're getting through our levels that I marked off on the indexes, because if not, the second tier stuff's going to come in. The other stuff's fantastic. There's no reason to even spend time on it. Like AVGO is just a beast. I think the dollar is starting to see more because you're starting to see more stabilization, but we want to stay over that parity, but you don't want to get too nuts. I also think Japan's scaring people, but we're all aware of the Japanese yen trade after what happened October 5th, right? A year ago. Like everybody remembers that, right? So like here. Or August 5th, I'm sorry. Right here. So like that was the Japanese yen carry trade. So that's when it all unwound last time. And once that unwinds, they just get smoked and they get out of the way. So yeah, I mean, I think you're setting up for something there, but I don't know. We'll see. I still like to come here and undercut this and get it over with. Maybe today's the day. They just undercut it and get it done. Maybe just get it done. Okay, LB. That's a name I really haven't been paying attention to, and I really should. Yeah, I think you got a lot of work to do there. I mean, maybe it starts to build, but that's got a ton of work to do. I don't know the second tier names are going to see that much. Well, I think that you're starting to see that some of this stuff's not going to be implemented anywhere near as fast as they said, which is always the case. But to the point of, like when we had earnings here and they come out with earnings and then everybody, even though the earnings are fantastic, everybody's selling it down. It's telling you very, very clearly that this is way ahead of itself, right? So from our standpoint, what does that mean? What's that mean? How low can that go? I mean, people don't remember this. Like the easiest trades are these. Like these, and I didn't do this. I was too busy with other stuff. But once we break the anchored VWAP from the IPO, they're like the easiest trades in the world. I shorted Rivian here. I never had to cover it, like ever. And you can just kind of see what happens. It just keeps falling apart. So, what happens here? These things can move, man. Like people think that these things are going to go back to levels that they were before. Once you start breaking these, like that's it. It's game over. And you can go through any name like this, like any single name. And when it happens, like people think like it's not that easy. It actually is. Like once that broke, that was it. Like you'd never ever come back from that ever. You've never been above it if that was your stop. Like, and you're now down to what? 18, and you're waiting to get above it, and it's 21. You know, and eventually it might just go to 0 and you're still short. You never had to do anything with it. What else is there that's of interest? I think it's of interest. Well, that's about it. I think that circle can get smoked. When they want, that stuff falls out of favor. It falls out of favor. I mean, no matter what it is. Yeah, until you get, what's up? Until you get to a point where you find stability, yeah, I mean, this stuff's just going to keep rolling over. I actually think it's a better short this morning than yesterday because you're bidding up right into resistance on the whole market, right? And Bitcoin's like getting ready to fall off a cliff again. So, you know, I don't know what it costs to mine a Bitcoin, but that's usually where you find stabilization. I think someone told me it's 74 now or something to actually mine one. So if that's the case, that's probably where you'll stop. But there's nothing here that's going to have this thing go any higher. So, you know, I mean, if you really believe in Bitcoin, you want it to go down. So, but if you look at it from that standpoint, yeah, like, man, that thing gets smoked. Mm-mm. You got some real issues there, man. You have some real structural issues there. See the break? You really need to hold right in there. And I don't know that you're going to. If you break that, you're going to here. And so if you think that the NAV of MSTR is 1, I don't know where it is, but then you're down another 18%. And the implied vol of it's 2x. So then you're looking at a 30% decline from there. So where's 30% put you? Which makes sense, 125. So that's probably where you're going to wind up, somewhere in here. I short this. I still short this. I shorted this recently at like $13, and everyone in the community looked at me like I was crazy. Crazy, they looked at me. Now it's 6. Who's laughing now? Who's laughing now? But, you know, this thing will eventually, they'll do the reverse split, the whole 9 yards. So these things are the easiest things in the world to short and just leave on. Yeah, dude, I think you can drop another 40, 50 points. I mean, you have clearly cracked. And even from here, there's your neckline, right? This thing gets smoked. Question is, how far does Bitcoin drop? Because you're not going to trade it at that big of a discount to Bitcoin. So how much does Bitcoin drop? Right? Does it really get to here from that level? Can you really drop 20%? Because then you can lose 40% on MSTR. You know, a lot of like people don't really care. I'd rather it fall apart. It's, you know, I like owning it. So for me, I mean, that's like when you break the trend line, the trend line breaks become the target. So for that to work its way all the way back, it really wouldn't surprise me. I don't see states buying it anymore. I don't see the Fed talking about, we're going to buy Bitcoin reserve anymore. right? I mean, that was all to get them to vote for you. You guys know that. So, they weren't going to do anything. It's like free buses in New York. How'd that work out? I think you were told in 12 hours, no free buses for you. So they say whatever the hell they want. And I think a lot of that is still got to come out of the market with Bitcoin. So yeah, I think you got 40, 50% there, man. I think that thing gets smoked, dude. It's got to get a bid, Troy. Hi from Germany. Hi from Miami. Good morning. New here. Long-time listener, first-time caller. Welcome, James. What's up, meow? Oh, I wouldn't touch it. I wouldn't go near it. Every time you think that thing's ready to go, what happens? Every single time we think that thing's ready to go, man, what happens to us? Like every time. I read this whole piece this weekend. I was so excited. Like I read this whole thing about the growth of small caps. Goldman did this whole piece on it, and 2x the return on earnings, right, versus the S&P over the next three years. Wham! It's like no one cares. I actually think it's got more. This is what I think it's got to do with. I actually think they're worried about private credit at regional banks. That's what I think it is. Waking up in Maui, waking up in Miami, and UAE. I don't have time. I'm going to go through these. Bull on earnings tonight. Not going to do it. Wow, I really set the bar really low. I said 8:15. Guys are so excited. I'm on at 8:23. They're saying good job. Good morning from Nicaragua. Good morning from Miami. Oh, dude, it's crazy. Let's go. We should get hats made like that, but it might come off poorly. Just talking gibberish. Yeah, you are. What's up? Mick is awful? No, it's the right Mick. Mick's fine. I'm just going to go through these real quick and then go. I think you can fade today, dude. I think you have the potential to fade today. I do. You have to ask yourself a question. When the market's up 2% and you buy, now I would rather fade it if it was hitting highs, which it's not. But when you're doing this, like how much do you think it could fade? You know what I mean? Like I would prefer the higher high and then the fade. But yeah, you're setting up for fade. You have to ask yourself a question. When you buy and the market's already up 2% off the open, how well are you doing? Like how well does your day go if you're buying and the market's already up 2%? Are you usually having a good day with your new ads? Or is it one of those days where you're usually better off selling things into the 2% day? It's up to everybody to look at their trading and figure that out for themselves. Control, bro, I'm looking, I can turn this thing on. I think it's bearish, but apparently not. I think it's the fact that you got anything, Harry. I think it's just the fact that you just got any data whatsoever. Yes, especially with the dollar. Yeah, Brandon. I saw that. Yeah, but if everyone's aware of the pair trade, it's no longer an issue. If we all know that it's there, it's not a problem. It's like when we didn't know that it was an issue, it was an issue. Do you know what I'm saying? Like it's not an issue because we all know it's there, right? The reason here that you had the issue is because we had negative CPI data here. At the same time, we're getting negative CPI data. Japan is out there wanting to raise rates. So that's why you had the cascade that you had that led to it. And we're still nowhere near that area. But so that in and of itself becomes the issue. We had negative CPI here. I don't know if you remember it, but you can go back and look at your CPI data. And that's what triggered it. We thought we were going into some kind of recession or depression of some massive deflationary environment. At the same time, Japan was ramping up. And so they unwound that trade because we were going to cut, they were going to raise. And so the pair trade was going to get thrown off and be like insanely more expensive. It's not like that now. And if we know what the issue is, then it's not an issue. If we're all running around, like if we're all of a sudden experts on the Japanese pair trade, it's no longer a problem. I think the bigger issue is private credit. The numbers are higher than expected, which means they shouldn't. The chances of them cutting rates are less. That's a good point. That's a really good point, Bam. I think the outcome so far is matching the expectations, but I don't think that we're aware of what the actual issue is, which I think is private credit. Oh, is it better than writing code? Yeah, I have no idea. The idea of me writing code, nobody wants that. I'm sorry, bro. I might just close it today, just out of respect. Actually, you got an upgrade today. There's an upgrade on that today, like a big one. You got to get through 50, Ian. No, I don't think it is a different story. I think that's fade the news, man. Like you had your chance yesterday to get out. You didn't get out, and you're going to look it in the face today. And I think everybody's going to look at this stuff in the face, or should be looking this stuff in the face and saying, man, I had the chance to get out yesterday. I didn't take it. Why is nobody talking about this? Why is nobody bringing this up? The fact that you have a bid out there for cash for 23.5. No one's talking about it. You got other bids coming in, and you already know your bottom line is 23.5 cash. Yet no one's talking about it. It's interesting. I tried that yesterday. That's going to be a big Citron name. He's probably going to come out, tweet about it all the time. I don't know. And then, it moved. I traded it for a little bit. I didn't like the action. I just got out of it. I don't know. Sometimes his longs are really bad, usually. You don't trade AVGO, you just own it. It's impossible to trade, in my opinion. You have to have a super long outlook. Let's just keep going through this. They blew it out, dude. Yeah, they blew that whole thing out, Jacob. Oh, they added Len. Okay, I didn't catch that. Thank you. That makes more sense to me. I look at what market makers are doing 100%. You're crazy not to. I think it's a problem. Yeah, you got to see if it's got to get above certain levels. Well, they have a meeting today, right? Yeah, I thought it was the other day too. I got to keep watching. There's a site for that. So we'll go keep looking at it. Good morning from Ontario. Good morning from Miami. Later, dude. I thought it was decent, but higher. And I think the higher is going to scare people. I really do believe that's going to scare people. I'm trying to get through all this. Tesla, I don't care about. Gold, I don't know that there's a need for it right now. I don't know if they're going to add a name that has zero in revenue. All right, I got to jump, guys. Trade to win today. Make good choices.